If you want to be fast in the LMGT3 car class in Le Mans Ultimate, then I highly recommend you stick around in this video, because I was already creating a bunch of setups, different TC settings, brake biases, toe values, you name it. And this is especially important if you already watched a lot of videos on me on car setup building, because this update is quite a bit nuanced and different. So if you want to get the most out of your car in the fixed series or in the open series, stick around. Okay, let's get into it. If you are on the fixed series, traction control settings 2, 4, 6 was really helpful for me. I could be really aggressive on throttle without it killing me. And you could even go lower to the point you can even turn them off. But that is not the case for every car. So for the Merc, for instance, 246 really works well. On a Ferrari, a 468 was better. On a Lamborghini, this was already pretty scary. So it's not really to say that you can always do this, but if you had to pick a choice, 468, 246, and some cars you could even almost turn it off if you have a good throttle control. Then I still use ABS 9, that really feels well to me. And if you don't get the car to turn while braking, you lower the front value of this brake bias. And then you can basically squeeze out the most. Now, if you are more adventurous, or you're higher safety rating, or you just like the open series like me, let's go into this screen. Let's go really deep and show you how I get rotation out of my cars, stability, and all that good stuff. So, and this is especially important if you have watched previous videos of mine. With this tire model update going from left to right, it's really confusing. So let's get into it. Okay, let's first hit that powertrain. Radiator cover, oil radiator cover, I just leave those to open. Preload differential, I will make a complete guide about differential and preload in the future. I don't know, I am not sure, but I found that lowest camber values is kind of the way to go. I didn't feel any improvements adding camber, but I want to keep this out, middle, inside values the same, and it seems like lowest camber is the way to do it. Then we go to the pedal force. I keep that one at default. I see this now is 92. Probably 100%. Then we go to this beautiful screen, because 90% of your car setup now, or maybe 70% of your car setup is going to be influenced here. In the previous update, you could not run this front ride height. And in this current update, we can go really low again. At least is what I found. That's really helpful. The Lamborghini and another car, I'm not certain anymore, but I believe a Lamborghini and a Porsche still needs a little bit of ride height. Okay. As for spring rates, you want to kind of keep them low. So if you have your let's say you're driving second to fourth gear, then spring rate's gonna be a massive influence on your car behavior. But as soon as you go really fast corners, or let's say you're driving a lot slower, then these spring rates are not that important for balance. Obviously, spring rates are important for body roll and mechanical grip and all that stuff. But that will be in the chassis aero in the next part of this video. So I also found for some cars, to get your car to rotate on that throttle pedal, we want to increase the rear packers. This makes sure we have less suspension travel, so aerodynamics are not that eager to go to the back, so you remain some front aerodynamic balance. And yeah, if you oversteer on lots of ride height, so imagine you increase ride height to create rotation in your car, if it gets too oversteery on your entry, but you want rotation on the exit, you know, this is like the trade-off you always need to make, then increasing some packers instead of increasing ride height might be a good idea. Then front packers are your safety net, so you wanna kinda remove them as much as possible, but if you remove them and you twitch and oversteer, like pitch that oversteer into corners, then you might want to increase those packers a little bit. I think the defaults are, for this car, pretty fucking extreme. So I think they can be a lot lower. Dampening, I have a video on dampers. Check the description. Hey, and if you liking this content this far, could you please hit that like button and check out the links below, because I have some free car setups there for beginner drivers, but also skill level setups to progress into. So a level 1 will be very, very beginner friendly, and a level 5 will be very advanced, and you'll just pick one in between to keep challenging yourself and improve in sim racing with skill level setups. Then we have this beautiful screen. Now, toe in, let's start with the toe in. And by the way, my head is in the face, yeah, but you can see that this is the front anti-roll bar, okay? And this is springs, okay? This is the front suspension, okay? So I'm recording this because I was like, I didn't sleep. I had to update all my setup packs and stuff, and oh my god, so much work. But anyways, and there was problem with the store as well. Anyways, nobody cares on out. Let's go to this chassis aero. Let me remove myself a little bit here. Okay, so slow corners. Slow corner grip on the front. Removing that anti-roll bar. Detached. I don't know. I don't... Detached is a bit too much for me. I'm pretty advanced though, but I'm like not that advanced. Okay, so I'm not an alien. When you go very low on wings, let's say you go 0, which is pretty low. You need this for Monza and Le Mans track. I like to run a kind of a soft anti-roll bar, or lowest, detached. You get more connectivity, and like let's say you have banking on tracks, so let's say the bus stop chicane on Spa, you know, got just some banking. Low anti-roll bars really help with the grip in those sections, and that's also the case for the front. So if you have a very stiff front anti-roll bar, it's just very understeery also in the slower corners. So you want to run typically pretty low anti-roll bars. And now we get into the juicy stuff for this particular Mercedes, negative toe. Yes, people, we're going ACC style with negative toe. A little bit of a side note on this update. They wanted to remove the slip angle abuse, and they successfully did this. We also got a car that was really murdering pretty much every beginner in the game, including the advanced drivers. Really easy to lose the car. I think they went all the way back again. Obviously, the game is more balanced than the update, not the previous update, but before this. But now you can actually run some negative toe to get this fat lady to have some rotation on the throttle. And here is the special thing you want to think about. Let's go to brake bias. And let's say you have a very, very, very low front value on the brake bias. If you now, and imagine we had this type of rake. Yeah, we have a 7 centimeters. This is just an example. This is not a good setup or anything. Let's just use this. Now, if you have a lot of negative toe with low brake bias, you will oversteer the car and you will lose it. But if you increase it a lot, let's say you have this value, 53.47. Now, this is just for reference for the contrast. Now you might save it on the entry and you will have great rotation on the entry. But because we have so much negative toe on throttle, it will be also very nicely and rotating. There will be a limit to this, but I found that with some negative toe and with a little bit of higher brake bias, I get a decent entry and I get more rotation on the throttle exit corner. To summarize this, and I highly recommend, I will put in the description how to build your car setups from the ground up with different steps. high and low downforce, those ones will be in the description, but a little bit of a summary will be adding lots of stiffness to your axle will create a skittish ride. When you go very soft on springs and anti-roll bars, you get a very numb and sluggish ride that will be more favorable on slow tracks. This is also very car dependent. Then if you stiffen up a certain axle, you introduce overload to these tires. So let's say if you got like a bunch of hard springs on the front and a bunch of stiff anti-roll bars, now all of a sudden we stiffen up that front axle. You get basically no grip on the front and a lot on the back. So I kind of think they should be together. I also think that an anti-roll bar on the back should be a little bit looser than the front. And I also think for front engine cars, we might run a little bit softer springs on the front than on the rear. So yeah, if you have any questions or comments about this video, let me know in the comments below. And a little bit of a side note on the setups for the Le Mans Ultimate developers. Where is the description of my setup? I cannot find it. Also, I was kind of hoping that as soon as I go on track, I go to a factory defaults. I would like, when I load up my level 4 on the Merc, I would like to go back to the setup as I came from track. But anyways, thanks for watching. And if you really want to get into building your own proper car setup for Le Mans Ultimate, this guide still applies, people. So thanks for watching.